Oh. Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners on Monday, July 12th, 2021 at 6 o'clock. As always, we'll start off with invocation. I'll ask Vice Chairman Cox if she'd lead us, please.
All right. Join me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we'd like to thank you for all your many blessings. We'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here tonight to do the business for the county of Stokes and the people. We ask for your wisdom and guidance as we make decisions tonight, and we ask for your travel mercies as we return home this evening, and it's in your name that we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. Please continue standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we do the approval of the agenda, I'm going to let Ms. Shaver talk on the on discussion agenda item A. Shannon, if you don't mind.
On the partners presentation that was going to happen, I got a word from this afternoon from DSS Director Stacey Elms that partners are going to be unable to be here to provide that presentation. But before we took it off the agenda, I just wanted to make sure if you all still wanted to discuss some of that information as far as like the possible disengagement from Cardinal, who's now becoming VIA, and if you had interest in discussing that a little bit, and also maybe discussing having all of those companies come up and maybe present some information to you at the next meeting possibly, or if you had things you wanted to talk about, if you wanted to fully take it off the agenda and just not talk about it, or if you wanted to leave it on, maybe talk about those options as something for next time.
I'd just like to leave it on to talk about those options.
And just, do we have the full PowerPoint presentation on that?
Mm-hmm.
Ready to
go. You've got what they sent up for their presentation.
Which is the same thing that was on our agenda?
Mm-hmm. So you
Okay.
still have the information in front of you, they just won't be here to answer any questions or
Yeah.
anything, but you can set that up at a later date.
I think I'd like to talk about it.
Okay. All right. With that being said, do I have approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. We'll now move on to our public hearing for the Dynamic Investment Incentive Agreement. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak on it that didn't get to sign in? I'll open the floor now for any of the public comments on it. All right. I'll now close the floor on that. I'll move on to our regular public comments. We have one speaker, as always, Mr. Stokes.
My name is Sri Ananda Sarvasri. I live at 1060 Tyler Road in Walnut Cove. I have a proposal to share with you. It's a proposal to allow the construction of resilient structures in Stokes County. Every region of the country has experienced catastrophic threats either by tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, or other natural or man-made disasters. When this happens, people are often stranded with nowhere to go. No security, no safety, no resources, no place to live with dignity. This proposal offers all of us a solution in times of catastrophe. It's quite possible to create a strong, comfortable, even beautiful structure with many of the comforts of home with very little money by using ECC, engineered cementitious composites. ECCs are similar to ferrocement, which is very strong. Ferrocement boats have been known to crash into a reef and break the reef. In this case, the composite, like ferrocement, is made with Portland cement, sand, and 2% reinforcing tensile fibers by volume. There may also be additives to improve workability. These structures are built in double curvilinear shapes, which are the strongest shapes in nature and therefore safer than ordinary stick-built structures. Resilient structures will not be connected to the grid, will have no high-voltage wiring like a home, no plumbing, nor will they pollute the environment with any waste. Therefore, they would not need the usual inspections and permits. Using RV or recreational vehicle technology, they are self-sufficient for all utilities and provide comfort through simple engineering design. The following features of resilient structures are self-explanatory. Essentially, these structures are akin to a camping scenario, but with more substantial protection and temperature moderation. And then there's a list of all the resilient structure features, engineered features. And this is something that would have to go by the planning department. We, get their approval to allow people to build these without the need for permits and so forth, since they wouldn't have the usual necessities of a home with utilities and water connections and grid connection and all that. So thank you for listening, and take a look at it.
Thank you so much.
And I have to go finish my project.
All right. All right, we'll now move on to our comments from our commissioners and manager. I'll start with Commissioner Morris.
Mr. Chairman, just like to welcome everybody that's here with us tonight, either virtually or in the room. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Barnacastle.
Reiterate what Mr. Morris said, welcome everybody here and everybody watching. It was great to go down today to the ribbon cutting to our new EMS station. Mr. Lewis was there from OEMS office and talking about our medics here in the county where they set the bar at a higher level than a lot of other counties do. And that's thanks to our medical director. So it's great to see stuff moving forward in our county.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bidwell.
Thank you, and I just want to re-echo what Commissioner Barnacastle said. First of all, welcoming everyone that's here tonight, and also if you are watching the live stream, thank you for participating in the process tonight. And I also want to just re-echo what Commissioner Barnacastle said about the ribbon cutting for our new EMS station today. I thought it was just, it's one of those things where how it's going to help the county, and it's going to help save lives. And I just thought it was a very grand opening, and I was just, I don't even know the words, I was just grateful to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Cox.
Yeah, I would just like to thank everybody for being here and participating, and those of y'all who have to be here, we appreciate you too. But appreciate everybody watching online, and to echo their comments. Today was really a great day to see that station opened, the sixth station, and adding a sixth ambulance and crew. And they talked about how the calls had doubled just in the last couple of years, and they challenged us to go ahead and start planning for Station 7. So I guess that's something we need to be thinking forward about, because I think the population is growing, and it's something we'll probably have to see sooner than later. But I would like to thank the former commissioners that served on this board that planned that station, and Jimmy and Ernest and the one James and the ones who planned it. It was great to be there today to be part of that, but to see what they planned come to fruition, that was really nice, and I think our county's going to benefit from the extra services. So we appreciate the forethought with that, and that's all I got.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Always good to see everybody here. And also what they're speaking of, I was not able to make the event today. I'm still trying to get over head cold, so I didn't want them picking me up off the ground from passing out in the heat. But I do appreciate all the phone calls and texts and everything else for the passing of my grandmother. A lot of y'all reached out, and we do appreciate that. And that's from the whole family there. But with that, I'll go ahead and move it on to our county manager, Mr. Oakley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. I do want to say welcome to everyone tonight, and I hope everyone is doing well. And I do want to acknowledge the grand opening of the unit number 6 and station in Walnut Cove. And it will be a great service and a great asset to the people in the Walnut Cove area. So with that.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll go ahead and move on to our approval of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Which one y'all want that?
I have it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now move on to our discussion agenda. Item A, the Partners Health Management presentation. And is Stacy here on that? No? Just
So that was supposed to be, Partners was going to be here to do a presentation. So, and Cardinal is now becoming the VIA Health group. VIA Health came down and presented some information at DSS, and Jake and Amber attended that, so they can answer some questions about that if somebody has some on what they offered and things like that. Stacy, as the DSS director, is really interested in looking into partners, bless you, into partners. She has spoken with some other DSS directors and feels comfortable with them. She did ask that that letter go out because it had to be sent by the end of June on a short timeline with a possible disengagement from Cardinal, soon to be VIA. Doesn't mean you have to disengage from Cardinal, just means that you might have the intent to do so. That she's willing to look at other options and, you know, other companies, of course, that she does feel good about the partners option and was hoping that you'd be here tonight to give you some clarification, answer some questions. But, you know, she's also willing to contact them again, as well as the VIA group, and there are a couple others in North Carolina that provide the same services to other counties. If you wanted to see as many of those as you could see, to come up and give you sort of a presentation of what they do, how they're different from Cardinal, or, you know, things like that, to kind of give you an idea on what you'd like to see in the future and what you think would help Stokes County the most.
Would it be possible for both groups to come at the next meeting?
That's what she and I were talking about today, was trying to get them here for your
Do you
next
want them
meeting.
at the same meeting, or does that matter?
Well, probably so, because you probably want to make a decision on it sooner than later.
Mhm.
If you stay with VIA, which is the company that, you know, Cardinal is transitioning to, you don't have to take any action. You can just pretty much, it happens, you move on. If you disengage and go with a different group like Partners or another one, it's about a 9-month process to make all that happen. So if you wanted to disengage, you probably want to start that process sooner than later. So you probably want to get them here as quick as you can to start getting the information.
Yeah, I see that. My thought on it is that I know that VIA was saying that they were serious about putting some type of inpatient treatment in Stokes for like a drug rehab type situation or something that would help with the opioid crisis. And I know we have the meth and fentanyl is really a problem right now too. I mean, we just got a super bad problem, and there's nothing around in Stokes to help with that. And I don't know what Partners has offered in that regard, but I don't think you want to just shut the door on something that is offering that kind of, you know, see if they can follow through. I know there were problems with Cardinal, but I don't know, you know, that this VIA group, I don't know their track record, but it interests me that they are seeing that need and wanting to address it in our county. So that's a question I would like to talk to both groups about, you know. So I'd like to have them both here.
Anybody else? Commissioner Morris?
Yeah, the, one thing I would like to get information on from Stacy or from you guys is what the other counties that were also with Cardinal are doing. And, you know, when I was here as county manager, we did a lot of collaboration between the counties that used Cardinal, and then we used that collaboration as leverage for things we wanted and so forth. And so I wouldn't want to get left being out on an island with everybody else with Partners and us with somebody else unless there's some really good reason to do that. So maybe if Stacy or somebody could give us a little update on what the other surrounding counties are doing. I assume we're still grouped in some kind of little region or some
The regions, yeah, and
little region or whatever.
most of the counties that we're involved with, like Rockingham and Surrey, I know some of the information you got from Surrey is that they've switched to Partners.
Okay.
So that's some of what you know.
Yeah, I think Forsyth is too. I looked up some information on Forsyth on this today, and yeah, I noticed that Dudley's having them do county manager there's having them do a LME MCO realignment committee to do this, made up of all the key stakeholders that would, within the staff and everything that would be doing. So we probably, if we do realign, we should consider whether we want to have one of those realignment committees put together with people like Stacy on it and folks that know a lot about this. Otherwise, I'm just really kind of want to get the information from various vendors and so forth, but not to pay close attention to what the other folks are doing.
Yeah, I was on, when I first came on in 2016, I was our representative for the board to our local Cardinals meetings. And one of our former commissioners, Leon Emmon, headed that up. But I was the representative here, and our counties that were in that area that met were Stokes, Rockingham, Davie, and Forsyth at that time. Now, they may realign to a different system, different regional system, different county system. But at that time, I was representing us, was Davie, Forsyth, Stokes, and Rockingham. Good change, totally.
Any more questions, comments on that? Everybody good with it at the next meeting, trying to have both of them here?
And possibly any, she did mention there are a couple others
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
as well known as these two.
That'd be
that
fine
she
too.
did want to reach out to, see if we can get as many people as possible to give y'all the information.
All right, sounds good. All right, we'll just go ahead and move on to item B, the animal control shelter hours change. Mr. Scotty Kaiser.
Mr. Chairman, if the board don't mind, I would like to talk about Scotty here. You know, Scotty Kaiser is our new director at the Animal Control Shelter, and that's due to what took place in our new budget with the sheriff moving out, and the animal area came back to the county. So with that, you know, here's Scotty. He's looking after it. I hope y'all like him, and he's going to go over some hours. He's going to go over some hours that he would love to see that this board would go back to. Okay.
All right, good evening. The reason I'm coming to you guys is we are currently pretty much short-staffed at this time due to the sheriff's office taking over one of our full-time employees and one of the others being transferred. A part-time employee did resign shortly after the budget change because of her hours being cut. Well, today I received a 2-week notice from another full-time employee. So currently right now, after the 2 weeks is worked, it's only going to be 2 animal control officers working for the entire county out of this shelter. So I'm looking to request you guys to possibly change our hours to the public from 1 to 5 Monday through Friday and be closed on Saturday. That way it'll give the staff enough time to come in and clean in the mornings, get all the state paperwork and stuff in order in case the state inspector walks in, make sure everything is clean, and well up to state standards. And with Saturday, I just had to work this past Saturday myself. There was no foot traffic that come in the shelter. The phone rang 1 time within an hour and a half. And this will actually assist in cutting down on comp time hours as well. The animal control officer that is on call for that week goes in an hour to 2 hours early to clean before we open to the public on Saturdays. You're automatically accruing 3 hours of comp time per Saturday that you're working because of, having to be open to the public. And I honestly think that it would cut down on comp time hours due to the short staffing. With us being so short staffed right now, it's hard to let anybody off to be able to go on vacation or anything like that. But, I'm not trying to be a stickler with anyone. I'm letting them have the time that they deserve off. So we are trying to work with what we can, with what little staff that we do have. And try to stay on that state standard as well. So that's what I'm requesting from you guys. If you got any problems, questions, anything, certainly feel free to ask, and I can try to answer them any way possible.
Question, comment, Commissioner Mendenhall.
I can verify there wasn't any foot traffic over there because I went to the landfill Saturday and just happened to see 3 or 4 people I knew, and I was over about 2 hours talking. How it gets, you just start rolling, people start talking to you. And I saw no one go in your building during that time frame. The hour situation, my question is, didn't you say you lost a part-time and then now
I just got a 2-week notice.
2-week notice?
Today, yes. His
So
last day is the
you tell me
27th.
you got 2 people. In 2 weeks, you'll have 2 people to work the animal shelter for the whole county.
for the whole county. And that is a very big undertaking for 2 people with a 456 square mile county. And, you know, you guys may not know, but I've got a baby due any day, anytime. So that's putting in another wrench in the plan. You know, I was originally planning on taking a couple weeks off when the baby arrived, but the way things are looking right now, I'm not going to be able to. Just because I do not want my one employee to get burnt out and quit when I return.
Well, and with just one, I mean, if she's
With one, we would have
taking
to shut the.
calls, then if something
Yeah.
happened,
So, I mean, we would have to close
What-
the shelter for a couple days, you know, to the public, just so emergency calls and stuff can get run during that business hour. And, you know, it takes a long time for one person to go in and actually clean thoroughly and make sure all the paperwork is filed correctly and everything. And that's our biggest problem is our paperwork ordeal and the cleaning, especially with being short-staffed. See, when we go in the mornings, you know, we usually clean, we all jump on it and take care of it, and we're usually done within an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's with 3 people cleaning. You know, and during that time, if we're able to get it done within a timely fashion, go out and run our pressing calls that we have, eat lunch, and come back and open the door by 1 o'clock. And when I first started 5 years ago, we wasn't opening to the public until 1 o'clock. So that's, you know, that's the reason I'm coming to you guys to see if there's any way we can possibly get that changed so we can keep the citizens of the county happy and be able to service the citizens as well.
that's all I have right now, Mr.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Have you got any certain day of the week, the most busiest day people come to the shelter?
Our busier days are mainly Mondays and Fridays. And, you know, I'm willing to possibly work with something for Saturday as setting it up by appointment only. You know, have a certain time where the officer's going to be there cleaning, that the landfill is going to be open. You know, that the officer can do the adoption or the rescue organization can come in, pick the animal up or whatever that they're picking up. And, you know, that way we can go ahead and move it out instead of sitting on it until the next business day. And, you know, we can work something out like that throughout the week if we need to as well for morning time hours. You know, set it up by appointment. Say for instance, you've got an animal you need to surrender, and you can't make it in the afternoon. You know, we can certainly set something up for the morning time hours to assure someone is there.
I was reading and asked that question. It may come to the point where you're so short-staffed, we have to shut it down one day during the week. So y'all can get done what y'all need to get done, especially going out in the county and picking these animals up.
See, and you know, I've also thought about possibly, you know, us being open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to the public 1 to 5 and closed maybe on Tuesday and Thursday. And that's until we're able to get enough staff to be able to run the place at a manageable number and get everything back to where it needs to be.
That's what I'm saying. It can be set up on a temporary basis.
Yeah, it can be set up on a temporary basis. But that's why I'm coming to you guys, you know, just to try to get something in the works for right now until we're able to get fully staffed and get them trained and go from there.
Do you plan to advertise for full-time and a part-time?
The part-time position was posted, and it closes on Wednesday. The full-time position was posted today, not even an hour after I received the resignation letter. So it has been posted. And I've had a few people inquire about it, but nothing set in stone yet.
Yeah. Sounds like temporarily, at least, you need to be able to do something to get the ship back righted again.
Yeah.
So,
And, you know, like I was telling the ladies in HR, you know, it's not every day you have a lot of people knocking down doors to become an animal control officer. So, you know, it's few and far between.
authority.
No.
Bishop Moore.
Yeah, I would definitely support you doing the afternoon hours. I've dealt with this place a lot before over the years, so
I'm sorry.
I know way too much about it already. So the idea of doing 1 to 5, you said,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds good to me, especially if you have an exception for appointments.
Yeah.
For specific things, but you don't have much Saturday business at all usually.
No. I mean, very seldom when you get a half a dozen people walk in the door. You know, I mean, every once in a while you may get a dozen phone calls on a Saturday. And there's been Saturdays I've worked that the phone has not rung, and there's been nobody walking in the door, and you wonder if the phone lines are even up and going.
I got a question, just for my own personal knowledge. Are you doing any type of, like adopting, or is it all done through FOSS now?
We do adoptions at the shelter as
Okay.
well. So we're doing them out of the shelter, and she's doing
Okay.
adoptions and stuff, and she's
Okay.
taking them from us as well. Right now, things have slowed down a little bit with her. She's sitting on quite a few more right now, because adoptions have slowed down due to the summer months and everyone going on
Right.
vacation and so forth and so on. So
Yeah.
it really has put a bigger burden on us, because we're having to hold them a little longer. I'm not in the business to euthanize everything that walks through the door.
Right.
I don't have that heart.
Do you have a lot, like, would your foot traffic be primarily people surrendering animals or trying to adopt animals, or some of both?
Some of both. We try to pick up a lot of the surrenders, unless it's a circumstance where they have to come in the shelter and, pay the surrender fee and so forth and so on. But we do pick up a lot, and we do have a lot of cat traps that has to be set throughout the county. We have ungodly number of calls right now on cats, and we have really nowhere to put them. That's our biggest problem with our calls right now is cat traps and feral cats.
Do y'all have to go out and set traps for, like, animals that people think might be rabid, like foxes and stuff
It's a
too?
possibility, yes. Yes, I currently have one out in King right now.
Yeah, I think I might work with her. Yeah, I got you.
Let me ask you a couple other questions. If you get fully staffed at 3.5, is that enough, or do you need more?
To
I
meet the
already have an
state,
opinion on that, but
to meet the state's numbers, we was doing some research the other day. They're recommending 10 animals per one person, and we can currently house 12 dogs and 12 cats for the county because that's all the space that we do have. We would be sitting okay at 3.5, but with a fourth person, that would free up me to be able to do administrative duties and other things, and be able to go out and meet and greet with some of these individuals that has issues that we need to resolve rather quickly.
are you using any volunteers now?
We are working on trying to get a volunteer program up and going. That's a big liability on the county having a volunteer program.
Yep.
Because you don't know what you're going to have that can turn around and snap on somebody that's been great with us. So we're slowly trying to work something in for a volunteer program. That way the county will be covered as far as liability issues and reasons. And I'm looking at getting this over to you guys so y'all can review the application and the guidelines and stuff to see if y'all are in agreement with it, to make sure the county will be off the hook if something does happen.
Well, what if you get 3.5, then get fully staffed again, and then try a volunteer program and see how that works, and depending on how all of that comes together, we look at another person in the next budget cycle.
Yes.
Kind of keep that in the back of your
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, I've been working on the volunteer program for a while now. We did have volunteers come in, and then some unforeseen circumstances happened, so we had to basically abandon the volunteer program. But we are currently working on that, and we have advertised, and we've had a few people come in to pick up an application, but some has not been returned.
Okay. So with the current situation you're in, you need to make this change immediately, I would think, right?
It would be very beneficial, yes.
How do we advertise that if we approve it like tonight? And
The new hours?
yeah,
Just want to do an effective date to give notice to people of when they're going to start it. So do you want to do it for August 1st? Are you thinking immediately? Is that your goal, or?
No, whatever you guys think is the best.
Yeah, and I
whatever
think
you
we
guys
just
think
put it
is
on
the best.
website.
sounds to me like sooner rather than
Put a
later.
notice on your door, and
We can make it public on our Facebook page, and then, y'all can make it public on the county page as well.
Effective date.
Okay.
Just have some notice and go ahead and put signs up on your door.
Okay.
I think that's all I have. I just think we should move on it quickly. And
There's no set number of days, is it, Ty, that we have to advertise, like, we can,
All right, so consider from getting the board's okay, moving to action, not everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Put
you
that
can
down as
put
item
something in the
D.
paper about it too.
Yeah, you put a public notice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scotty. All right, move on to item C, the tax office agenda. Mr. Richard Breen.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm here tonight to talk about the annual settlement for fiscal year 2020, 2021, and then also the order to collect for fiscal year 21, 22. I won't bore you with going through all this information at the end. If you got any questions, I'd be glad to answer them, but I'm just going to mention a few highlights. Happy to report that we have collected over $843,000 over what was budgeted for this fiscal year. That's remarkable. And I was kind of thinking back, why so much more? And one of the things that I went back and looked at is I looked at the transaction history on our electronic payments. And you remember last year, this board approved us to go to the new platform with the electronic payments, giving people more options, and some of those options beneficial to the taxpayer on savings, especially with the e-checks. And in doing that, our electronic payments increased almost $1.2 million in this past fiscal year. So I applaud the board for that because that's really helped us. Then the next item would be just the order to collect. We're on pace to send out the bills on July the 29th. I want to ask the board to move the order to collect to the July 26th consent agenda and to ensure us the timely mailing on July 29th. Currently reviewing the proofs right now. We've got those back from South Data. They're looking good. Everything looks to be in order, and don't see any problems. That's really all I've got tonight.
All right. Any questions, comments for Richard? All right. Thank you, Richard. We'll move to consent.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate that.
Thank you for some good news. All right, move on to item D, the surplus tax foreclosed property final offer. Ms. Shannon Shaver.
Yeah, so Linda Pruitt couldn't be here this evening, and she asked me to take care of this item for her. So you approved for her to go ahead and start being able to do this bidding process for the surplus property that's currently owned by the county. So this is one of those properties that was approved, which was stated on here as Lot 2 at the Hancock Forest Road. She had an offer on that property approved by the board, and she did the upset bid process where she advertised that in the paper as outlined in the general statute. She had a couple of upset bids on it, and every time there's an upset bid, the other bidders are notified of the upset bid and given opportunity to keep upsetting the bid. So her final bid, and after notifying the other members, is what CC presented on the agenda for you. The option to accept or reject that final bid from Wilson Brothers for the amount of $1,200. And she's requesting that if you are in favor of moving forward with that you approve this evening so she can start the other paperwork that goes along with this as far as she work with the county attorney on that, on getting that finalized. And at this point, she's satisfied the requirements of having it approved, running it in the paper, doing the upset bid process, all that. If we put it on the next meeting, it's fine. It just delays getting that piece of property into that person's name and getting that off of the county book.
Questions, comments? Everybody fine with moving that to action tonight? All right, put that down as item E. All right, move on to item E on discussion, the NC Forest Service contract. Ms. Brown?
So this contract is just an agreement for protection, development, and improvement of forest lands in Stokes County between the county and the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. It's basically the same as in years past. The only change is just formatting, so they can standardize the way it looks across the state and all the different counties. County Attorney Browder has reviewed this contract and has approved it. So if possible, we can move this to today's action agenda for approval, since the other one has ran out.
Hope Jimmy ain't watching.
Amber, just to be sure, the county portion on this funding, I'm looking at state versus county.
Mm-hmm.
86,000 our portion on this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions or comments on it? Everybody fine with moving it to action agenda tonight?
Does that include the smoke chaser, that 86, or is there addition for the smoke chaser?
Should include it. They usually outline them separately.
Okay.
That in they usually have a separate amount of money in the old contracts that say the smoke chaser position. But I don't believe they did away with any of that, so it should be included in the county
Okay.
dollars.
I just want to make sure we have that. Those people are really important to put these grass fires out.
Yeah.
They get there before the fire department does sometimes. They did when I recently set my field on fire, so. Very embarrassing event, but
Important.
I did get a citation, by the way.
Oh, yeah, so it says position will be identified, here's 100%.
Yeah.
Number 9 on page 2 of 4, mutually agree between department and the board, the county may agree to cover 100% of position. The amount to be added to the standard county, also here you go, county percentage sum listed below will be the smoke chaser to appropriate annually additional sum of $15,000, which sum be available for expenditure under the terms of this agreement. So it doesn't sound like it is part of that 80.
So,
Is that you, Ty?
if that's the case, it would be 101,000.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's,
They usually outline that up there in the top portion. So I'm glad you asked that.
So
I think
we're
it
looking
is.
at 101,000.
Well, it says 101,000 county total if applicable.
If
At
they
the
add
top,
that
yeah, if they
15,000,
add
if you add the county,
Yeah.
add the 15,000. So, yeah. It just doesn't say smoke chaser at the top, and that's what that's definitely for. So,
Yeah, we had that.
oh, yeah.
I don't know. I'll write it in.
You'll meet them one day. So.
Any more questions, comments on it? Is everybody still good with moving this to action? Okay. I will put that down as item F. Item F, PTRC appointment request. Ms. Brown.
So the vacancy for the Piedmont Triad Regional Workforce Development Board was discussed at the last meeting on June 28th. After some discussion, we agreed to move this item back to the discussion agenda for tonight's meeting so we could find out more information about the applicant, who is Ms. Dawn Cardwell. And her application and resume were attached on the agenda for viewing, and one of her references is Ms. Amy Hoffman. And that's the person who highly recommended that she fill the vacancy, and that's her manager at Wheelan Copper.
Okay. Questions or comments on this?
Mr. Chairman, I also spoke to someone who knows her and works with her, and they spoke very highly of her professionalism and character.
Sounds good to me. Anybody else? All right. Is this something that they're needing done pretty quick since we pushed off last meeting, or can it just be the next meeting?
Yeah,
The next meeting?
I think that should be fine.
Okay. All right.
You'll still need to do the normal process.
Open the board for nominees.
Open the floor and all that, and then-
Okay. All right, item G, the dynamic vet.
Right, you'll have to open the floor to nominate.
I'll still even with that now? Okay.
And then move it to action for next meeting. So
All right.
all that procedure will be done.
All right, I'm at it.
Okay.
Open the floor for any further nominations.
Dawn Cardwell.
Don Cardwell.
Holly Cardwell.
Cardwell.
Call. All right.
And
Anybody want to close the
we
floor?
need to make
Yeah.
we need a motion to close. I make a motion, we close.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. I guess I need to poll the boards already.
No, you already got next
Uh-huh.
meeting. Just consensus and move it to action for the next meeting.
Okay. All right, now we'll move on to item G, the dynamic investment incentive agreement. Mr. Will Carter.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were gonna call me up, thought you had the information.
Well, I got the information, but I seen your name down there, so I figured I'd get ahead and call you up.
Oh, okay, yeah. We've discussed this, in length before, to the board, and the City of Kings already done their resolution in public hearing. So I was just asking the board tonight, if possible, to move forward with this. It's a win-win for the county, the city, and the company.
Questions, comments on it?
Just have one, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
There's some wording in paragraph 4.3 I wanted to get Ty to check on. It says, should the lowest reasonable, comma, responsible bid exceed whatever. Should that be the most responsive bid? Responsible and responsive instead of reasonable and responsible? You know, responsible means they can do the work. Responsive means they meet the bid specs. So should that wording be changed, or is it okay like it is? Doesn't be, okay. Because now it says lowest reasonable responsible bid. I had never seen a bid described that way, so. Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I know it's kind of a rush on this as well. Is this board having objection to moving that to action agenda tonight? We had no one to come speak on it.
I think we should.
One yeah, two yes, three yeah. Okay. All right. Put that as item G.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now move on to item H, acceptance of the American Rescue Plan Acts Fund.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the American Rescue Plan Act funds allotted to Stokes County, which totals $8,855,517, needs to be accepted by an official vote of the board. This item will need to be moved to tonight's action agenda so we can let the federal government know that the county is going to accept the funds in full.
Okay.
First, I'll make a motion, we move it to action.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item H, on the action agenda. We'll now move on to our action agenda. Item A, the surplus property private sale. Do I have a motion on this?
Motion to approve.
Any discussion?
I have some discussion on it.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to get a couple things clarified on it. Let me get the wording here. Let me just read this type, so I'm going to get you to answer a question on it for me. It says, we will dispose of the property. The resolution or order shall identify the property to be sold and may, but need not specify minimum price. A notice summarizing the contents of the resolution or order shall be published once after its adoption, and no sale shall be consummated thereunder until 10 days after its publication. So my question is, in that thing that gets published, do we put the price it sold for, description of the vehicle, that kind of stuff in there for transparency purposes for the public?
I would recommend it.
Yeah. Okay, so,
I really don't know why the statute reads like that. That should be an important part of the pricing.
mhm.
Statute doesn't require it, but I would recommend it.
That's what I was going to suggest, that we put what the condition of the vehicle. So I think Mike told me it had a aftermarket engine in it instead of the original engine, and it probably lowers the value of it. And also, the mileage maybe, and the price, the most updated, an updated price based on the current market, and let the public know what it was sold for. So then my second question from that same narrative there is, so why do you publish it 10 days? Is that to allow somebody to disagree with it? Well, what happens if they do? What happens if they disagree with it or something, or raise an objection? Does that mean you revisit it, or does it just go? Okay. Okay, good.
Go ahead.
That's all I've got then.
Commissioner Morris, Manassas.
I'm done.
So, according to this information we just received, right before the meeting, it says, in addition to the information on the agenda showing that this type of transaction has been completed before, it should be noted that since 2010, there have been 14 resolutions adopted authorizing the sale of a county-issued service sidearm for the cost of $1 to a retiring officer, and the badges worn have been donated. 6 of these have been done since 2016. I know that to be accurate because that's when I came on board, it's in 2016. That brings the total done in the last 11 years to 14. And I never remember any of the deputies that we sold their sidearm to for $1 and donated their badge to them. I never saw that go in the paper, advertise, or indicating that we did a $1 sale for a sidearm. I never remember that happening in any of these cases.
I don't think it's required for the sidearm.
So a sidearm only cost, I just bought a sidearm last week and I paid $1,200 for. And I don't know if that, I don't know if that spore's worth it. From what I understand, it's been wrecked twice and has a second motor in it. I don't know if anybody would pay $1,200. I know I paid $1,200 for. Of course, I'm an avid gun collector, so I paid $1,200 for what I got. So I just don't see the problem that we have to put it in the paper since the sidearm hadn't been.
Separate statute.
But it did.
Separate statute, isn't it?
So we put that in the paper? We put these sidearms in the paper?
We don't put the sidearms, and with this one, you just have to publish it, but it's giving you the leeway to either to the amount or not.
What about the 2 garbage trucks in 2005?
Those would have been the same way, same kind of resolution under this general statute. We would have published it in the paper, and I don't know if they published.
I was going to say, were they published?
Probably so, because I looked at Glenda, and I found when the resolution was done for that one in the meeting on April 11th, 2005, they clarified in that one what the offer was on those vehicles and the value of them in that resolution. So that was publicized, the dollar amount was, so, on those. That statute's just giving you the option to do it or not.
Option to do it or not?
Right. But again, I think the best practice would be put the amount in. Total transparency.
And Glenda has the appraisal, from where she got even 2 appraisals done on that vehicle, the fair market value of it. I think she just didn't put it in here yet until she sees like what the board would rather her do as far as that.
Is that what they're gonna sell it for, the appraised amount, or?
Yeah, so she's got some paperwork from the appraisal on it for that amount of money, yeah.
Nobody else has expressed any interest in it to me, except one person said they might be, but I didn't consider it a serious offer.
Any further discussion on it?
So if this is put into action and it's approved, or you're saying, then it would go into the paper at that time?
Yeah, we put it in the paper, and then we would, if you wanted us to include the dollar amount of the appraised value in it, we would add that to it and advertise that too. As part of this resolution that was approved.
So can we get it moved to action tonight?
It's on action.
I mean,
And
it's on action.
I can get the appraised dollar amount. for
Can
you.
we go ahead and, I'm saying, can we go ahead and take action, even though it's
Yeah.
item A action? We can take action, correct?
Yeah, you can, you're in action now, so you can vote on it now, and I can get if you want to give me about 1 minute, I can get the dollar amount for you on what the value would be on it.
Yep.
If that's what the board is.
I don't think it, to
If
me
that's what you
personally,
want.
I mean, as long as she's selling it for the appraised amount or the fair market value or whatever she got, I mean, I don't have to know what that is. I think it's fine, to do that. And, I don't care if we put it in the paper or not. I mean, because I don't think it's as big an issue as some people might think it is. I got one call in favor of doing it. It's the only call I got about
But
it.
it requires it to be put in the paper.
Yeah, I'm saying the dollar amount. It doesn't require the dollar amount, which I said I'm fine either way, of putting it or not putting it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely putting it in there, but, so you got a motion and a second. I don't know what else you need.
I was just waiting for the rest of the discussion.
I mean,
I'd just like to see that dollar amount put in there so the public will know what we sold it for and know that it matched the appraised amount and everything's clean.
Don't matter to me. It's not a big issue. So.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
So are we doing
fine. I mean, we're not hiding anything. I think if we don't, it'll look like we are trying to hide something. We're not. I think transparency's always good.
That's 1, 2. Wayne, Ronnie, y'all want the dollar amount?
Yes.
Like published?
Has it always been done?
In the past,
On the private sale of the only two things that we defined a private sale on, which were two garbage trucks, it was published in the resolution what was paid for those.
Then do it.
let's get into it then.
So just to clarify, the appraised value for it is $1,800. I got that number just now because I asked her for it. So that would be that would go in the resolution as a dollar amount and will be advertised in the paper. So it's part of the
Okay.
scheme too, so it'll be.
All right. Sounds good. We'll move on to item B, the environmental health fee request. I have a motion.
Motion to approve.
A second on it.
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a couple of points I'd like to make on that. I think the numbers that the Health Board came up with are perfectly appropriate. I would prefer to do this kind of thing during the budget cycle, and we just missed the budget cycle with this one. So, given the fact everybody's recovering from COVID, the building supplies are out the roof. I'm not sure the timing is good right now to add another cost onto building and to construction type stuff or whatever. So I guess my preference would be that we take these exact numbers that the Health Board came up with and just have them propose them in the next budget. But that'd be my personal desire, but
Okay.
I'm not gonna follow my sword over it, so.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. Item C, the JCPC appointment request. List of nominees was presented to the board on that June 28th meeting to fill the Juvenile Prevention Council vacancies. The floor is now open for any further nominations.
Make a motion that we approve the names listed on our agenda docket without going through each one of them. Because I think we have about 10 or 12 on there.
Make a motion.
Yeah, he did.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. That's at the poll.
You'll need to close the floor.
Okay, yeah, I need somebody to make a motion to close the floor for nomination.
Motion to close the floor.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I need to poll the board. You can say list as presented.
List as presented.
List as presented.
List as presented.
List as presented. Move on to item D, the animal control shelter hours change. I have a motion.
Motion to approve the changes.
Second. Ronnie got it.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
What's your effective date?
I guess as effective as you can, like as quick as you can.
Do you have a date in mind for to make it effective?
Make it for Monday of next week.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Monday of next week, that way we can go ahead and advertise the budget of what we can,
The 19th.
and go ahead and get the signage and everything changed on the door.
Effective then?
That will be the 19th.
All right. Thank you, sir. Item E, the surplus tax foreclosed property final offer. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item F, the NC4 service contract. Have a motion.
Motion to
Second. I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item G, the dynamic investment incentive agreement. Have a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right. Item H, acceptance of the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Have a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Amber, if you wouldn't mind, please read the rationale for closed session.
Closed session rationales for July 12th, 2021. to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3, to consider and take action with respect to the position to be taken by the county in negotiating the price or other material terms of an agreement for the acquisition or lease of real property pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A5, and to consider the initial employment or appointment of an individual to any office or position other than a vacancy in the Board of County Commissioners or any other public body, or to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, and fitness of any public officer or employee other than a member of the Board of Commissioners or of some other public body pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A6.
Motion going to close.
Make a motion, we enter closed session.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. We're closed. if there's nothing further, do I have a motion for adjournment?
We adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Stick around for that. Get it out.